Sports on Tabs Hockey Night in Northeast Ohio is brought to you by Brunswick Auto Mart. You can visit them online at www.brunswickautomart.com or go visit them at 3031 Center Road in Brunswick.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Raymond Felton State Farm is here to defend you from life's unexpected hits with coverage that fits your game plan. Get a free quote today at www.rayfelton.com or call 234-284-2996. Raymond Felton State Farm will help build the game plan that fits your needs.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.
Everybody to Sports on Tap. Raymond Felton, State Farm Insurance. You got to hear about him along with all of our other tremendous sponsors before the show. We'll take a break in the middle of the show, and then you'll hear about our sponsors after the show. So for specifically to Ray Felton, check them out at www.rayfelton.com. Get a quote on your home, auto, and life insurance needs, amongst many other products that he offers out of beautiful Hudson, Ohio. My name is Ed Dick, alongside Rob Troutman, Sean Duffy, Noah Jacobson, and Josh Jeffy. You are watching this live on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Make sure you get those notifications when we are about to go live on the air. You can follow us on Twitter/X at SOT Podcasts. We are on Threads at SOT_podcasts. You can listen to us on Spotify as well. And our website is sportsontap.podcast.com. We're on Facebook at Sports on Tap. And for comments, questions, concerns, pronunciation, suggestions, send us a note at sportsontap@gmail.com. Excuse me. All right, we have a great show for you tonight. The last one for the high school football season. In about 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to be joined by Avon Lake offensive lineman and OSU recruit Max Riley. We will have a recap of Avon's state championship game against Cincinnati Anderson, a rematch of last year's Division II state championship. Josh was there for that one, so he'll bring us the coverage there. We'll go through the rest of the state championship games as well, and then we're going to be joined later tonight by two-time state champion wide receiver / defensive back Grant Barr and Avon quarterback Blake Elder. They're going to join us a little bit later on as well. Grant will be on at 8:20, and Blake will be on at 8:35. So a great action-packed show for everyone tonight. We'll go through. There's going to be a lot of changes going on in our conferences here at the conclusion of this football season as well. So we'll highlight those on our way out as well, and talk about a little bit of our hockey coverage and what Dr. Hoops has going on for basketball as well. So, before we really get into it, we want to thank the coaches, the players, the student athletes, parents, athletic directors, really anybody who's involved in making themselves available and to coming on our show, to opening and allowing us to get on the sidelines and in the press boxes. It makes everything that we do that much easier and more fun when we're able to interact with the student athletes, promote the programs. That's why we do this. So on behalf of Sports on Tap, I humbly thank each and every one of you and everyone who's watching us and listening to us and who follows us. Thank you very much for that as well. We very much enjoy doing this, and we have a really good thing going, and we want to keep it going for as long as we can. All right. So that said, we are going to be joined. He's just connecting now. Excuse me. And we're going to be joined, and we are now joined by Avon Lake offensive lineman. He is going to the Ohio State University. We're joined by Max Riley from the Shoremen. Max, how you doing tonight?
There we go. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'll tell you, that mute button gets everybody.
Although
Josh has been on a run lately where it hasn't gotten him. So now that I put the Blake on him, we'll see if it happens today. Well, Max, thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. I know you got a lot going on, getting ready to get to college. But talk about the season and really your career at Avon Lake. I know this particular season, not as many wins as you would want, but still a lot of good experiences and working with Coach Kostelnik and the rest of your team. So talk a little bit about this season. Just kind of recap that for you and where you see things going with the underclassmen.
Yeah, obviously from a team perspective, we didn't really accomplish what we wanted to do.
It looks like we have a little bit of a connection issue.
Did a better job in the off season with the weight room and stuff, and just kind of setting the standard. It wasn't great I think there's some things to build on that hopefully
Hey, Max, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
we're having a little bit of connection issues with you. We're good now, I think, though.
Okay.
Go ahead, Noah.
Max, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us, and congratulations on committing to the Ohio State University and that. But just kind of talk about what are some of the things that you are looking forward to at Ohio State, not just football wise, but talk about some of the things that you were looking forward to going into the campus wise coming into next year.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting experience. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to go down there, be a part of that program. I mean, I live in the suburbs, so going into Columbus, it's going to be an interesting experience. Living alone, too. I'll have a roommate, but just being away from family and stuff.
Having more issues.
It's going to be a bit of a change, but
There you go.
Yeah, you can't take that for granted. And that's something that you think about that when you're going away for maybe the first time and going from a relatively decent sized community in Avon Lake, but going down to Columbus, that there's a lot of a lot of kids go from an Avon Lake to maybe a Division III school or Division II school where that jump maybe not be as high. But this is a pretty big one, so it's pretty. It's interesting that and I think it's important to acknowledge. I mean, that's a major life change you're going through there, Max.
yeah, for sure.
Max, again, congratulations on everything, man. It's an awesome opportunity, as you said, especially playing for a top-tier program like Ohio State. I guess the question as a former lineman, we talk about a lot of guys that I've known personally that went to college and maybe played maybe like an outside left tackle or right tackle type of situation, but asked to move maybe interior on the inside. Has there been any talk about you switching a position, or at this point are you just kind of working on your natural position where you were this year?
Yeah, I've talked with Coach Bowen a few times about it. He thinks I could play pretty much anywhere on the O-line. So a lot of it's just going to depend on like returners and just kind of seeing where depth's needed to start. And then at Ohio State, everyone has like a primary and then a secondary position. And then some guys have more than that. So I could potentially be playing anywhere from 2, 3, 4 positions. So
Good stuff there, Max. I mean, going through, your Twitter feed, your X feed, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of work that you do in the off season, even during the season. We on our show here, we don't get to talk a lot to offensive linemen about the work, not only with your feet but your hands that you have to just constantly work on. So can you just kind of talk about the off season prep and the stuff that you do not on the practice field that has helped you in your journey through your high school career?
yeah, I'd definitely say training at T3 Performance with my trainer Dale Roddick's been a big help. Guys drive from 2-3 hours away, and I have it 7 minutes down the road. I'm at T3 pretty much every day now, whether it's lifting, training with Dale. So just over the off season, it's great to have kind of be able to get away from the team in a good way, but just have a second voice that's kind of teaching you different things, and you can kind of bring it back and vice versa with that. So
Yeah, you find that you go into T3 that you're able to just you have that your coach there, you're able to focus on. You're going there for on a Tuesday night. You're focusing on one aspect of your game that you can improve on.
yeah, pretty much. And then you're also training with guys that are, I met my roommate Sam Greer through T3. And then we got Landry Breedy, who's also going to Ohio State. I met him there. And there's a bunch of other guys that are, playing collegiately. So just being around them and being in that environment's been a big help also.
Yeah, Max, you had a great career at Avon Lake. I mean, you were a leader this year. I mean, you and Aiden Stewart, I thought I had a chance to talk to you after your scrimmage versus Lorraine, and you could tell, it was a young team there at Avon Lake, but you and Aiden really, I thought, took that leadership role and did a great job. You had some injuries. Your team had injuries this season. But on the defensive side, when you had to go against some defenders, was there one defender that gave you some problems this year, or was it just smooth sailing on your side of the line?
There's definitely a couple of guys like in game that gave me work, but honestly, the main test for me was in practice with two of our guys, Eric Van Nieuwen and Caleb Smith, just going against the same guys every single day for like 3-4 months straight. Like eventually they're gonna win some. They start like messing with you and stuff. But those two are really good football players, and they gave me some good work. So.
Hey, you probably learn a lot, and also technique. There's probably different things you can do and learn from going against the same guys all the time. They eventually probably know some of your moves there.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we're talking with Avon Lake offensive lineman and Ohio State recruit Max Riley. Now, Max, I understand you're going to graduate early and get to Ohio State in time to practice in the spring. How important was it for you to be able to get to accomplish that, to get your Ohio State career off and running as soon as you could?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I think all but maybe one or two guys in my class at Ohio State are going to be early enrollees. So just getting that extra semester of credits in, you can kind of load up a bit more in the spring. So there's less to do in the fall and like during football season and stuff and fall camp. And then also just being in the weight room with Coach Mick, going through winter workouts, and then obviously spring ball is also going to be a big part. So.
Max, when we look at offensive linemen, there's a lot of great NFL college players, but just kind of talk about who is the one player or offensive lineman that you really idolize and try to make a big impact of what you do today? Who is the one person that you really look up to as an offensive lineman, whether it's college or NFL right now?
Yeah, I'd say like when I was in middle school, I always wanted to be, go to a Power 4 school, go to potentially Ohio State. I wasn't really sure if I could do it or not. But I'd say a lot of those guys that were older than me, like, for example, like Luke Montgomery, who's at Ohio State now, Ryan Bayer's at Pitt, just guys like that in the area, like Blake Miller at Clemson. Just watching their film, kind of seeing what I needed to be, like size-wise, what I needed to put out on the field and stuff to achieve the goals I wanted to achieve.
Max, I'm curious. Again, I'm kind of learning the story here and how you made this decision to go to Ohio State. Was it always Ohio State, or were you kind of in between 1, 2, maybe 3 schools before you made the decision? And when you made that decision, was it, something that you let them know early on and became like an early commit, or did you wait until signing day? Again, I'm just trying to give our audience an idea of what the kind of the insider view of that process is, especially for a guy like yourself who had offers and chose Ohio State.
Yeah, so I committed this past March. I think I was like, in terms of guys that stuck in the class, I think I was the 3rd commit in the class, so pretty early. I'd say like, I think I got the offer also, I think March, my freshman year. So it's been a while. Some other schools I was looking at were Clemson and Alabama, probably the 2 main ones. They have great programs, great cultures and whatnot. But I grew up an Ohio kid, loved Ohio State. Seeing what they put out on the field this past year with the national championship and stuff, and just having the opportunity to be a part of that was something I really could not pass up. So.
Well, I mean, if there's, if by some chance it doesn't work out, I'm sure there's a Max school by the name of Bowling Green that'll love to have you on.
Heck yeah,
on
man.
on the team there. There's 3
Former
guys
Ohio
that
State
went
guy running that program too, just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yep.
Hey Max, I would be remiss if I didn't say it. There's a team that's real close to you, an arch rival over you that won its 2nd state championship, and I know good competition. They're the cream of the crop, but can you give your perspective on Avon and not so much that they are in your conference? They're a big rival for you, but what does having a public school win back-to-back Division II state championships possibly mean for other public schools in the area, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's definitely big for a public school, especially with like the state of private schools right now. Like like you see in D1, I think it was also a public school that won, but I think a lot of like the private schools are usually the top schools, but see a public school be able to do that's pretty special, especially back to back. Fortunately, our rivals, but I'm friends with some of those guys, so I'm happy for them.
Yeah,
good answer. Nice and short. Kept it clean. I liked it.
I mean, Avon Lake for a long time had, and they still do have a solid program, obviously. But Coach DeLugas did a great job taking Avon Lake really far for a long time. I know he's still around the program. I saw him on the sidelines when I was covering games. A great coach, but Avon Lake has always had those really good coaches, and Coach Kostelnik, I feel like, still does a really good job. Max, what about, you're obviously graduating. What was some of the memories that you took from Avon Lake that were special to you that, whether it was with friends traveling to different places or there was a game that you really enjoyed? What were some of the memories at Avon Lake that you can remember that were special to you?
Yeah, I definitely say like the impact a lot of the upperclassmen had on me when I was a freshman and sophomore. I was just really close with those guys. We had dinner together like 2 times a week, which is always a highlight of the week. Favorite games? I enjoy every game, a bit more when we win. But one of my favorites was probably Amherst my junior year, just because it was in the rain. And it was just a mud pit because it was an away game, but it was so much fun. We just ran the ball the whole game. It was great.
I remember that game. I was at that game, and it was an absolute monsoon there. And I think you guys won that game, if I remember correct. That was a close game, but you guys held on for the win. And that was an entertaining game. You guys probably loved it because you could just slide a mile on that field.
Yeah.
We're talking with offensive lineman from Avon Lake and soon to be Ohio State's Max Riley. Max, what in addition to football, what are you going to be studying when you get to Ohio State?
I'm looking into studying criminology and criminal justice. It's kind of a 2-for-1 at Ohio State with the major. So
nice.
What piques your interest about that specific major?
Yeah, I'm interested in going to like the FBI or Secret Service or some form of law enforcement when I'm done playing. So that's the plan as of right now.
Nice.
Well, the only thing that
my future feels a lot safer now. I'm not gonna lie. Well, Max, congratulations on a great career at Avon Lake. And best of luck to you at Ohio State. We're certainly going to be following, keeping tabs on you, and wishing you the best, and representing Northeast Ohio, and more importantly Avon Lake, as you hopefully become the next one of the next in the pantheon of Buckeye greats on the offensive line. So thanks again, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Max.
Max. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, that is Avon Lake offensive lineman Max Riley going to Ohio State. He's leaving a little bit. He's graduating early, as he mentioned, with most of the class that's able to graduate early and get into the program as soon as you can. And we talk about playoff teams that are able to get extra weeks in because of their playoff run. That runway is just as important for a college prospect. Being able to graduate early and get those additional months in there, get used to college, and when you're not in season, really get involved with the program. I mean, I think that's an underrated thing that we don't really talk about a whole lot, especially when you're talking about going to college.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And especially he mentioned in the springtime, that's when you kind of load up on a lot of your classes, because during the fall, obviously, you're a little busy. So, it's for someone like Max, who's, coming off of a season, really just getting down to it, graduating high school, there's really no layoff. You're just going and getting it ready and making that huge life adjustment. That's a great point, Ed, that you just made. That's something that you really don't think about it for a high school athlete who's moving on to the next level. There's a lot of adjustment, not only academically and athletically, but life-changing. So, just kind of going back to when we were, 18 years old, going on to college for the first time, how big of a change that was. Imagine being involved in athletics. It's a big deal.
When you go and going from, I already mentioned this. I don't want to beat this horse too much, but you're going from a very comfortable situation in your hometown to, the biggest city in the state of Ohio, with a very highly motivated football program that has a national microscope on it at all times. That it's daunting, and I think you have to be crazy to not have a little bit of nervousness going in, and a little bit of a healthy anxiety going into that situation. But I think we having knowing what we know about Max and just how he's performed throughout his career, I think he'll get through the transition just fine, and be ready to roll come fall time, and hopefully we'll be seeing him on a depth chart or on a 2 deep, maybe a 3 deep. It's interesting hearing that and it makes sense. Even at a Division I school like Ohio State, you got to be able to prepare for multiple positions, especially on that offensive line.
Yeah, and the more you can play, the better your opportunity to find playing time. On a team that's got 100 players on that team on the sideline at any given point. So, and if his coach says he's got the ability to play all positions, that's nothing but a good thing.
Absolutely. The more versatile you can make yourself in college, and obviously we see it in the pros, the better off that you are. Definitely. So we want to thank Max for coming on and joining us and representing Avon Lake, and going to go on and do some great things at Ohio State, and also with whatever type of law enforcement he chooses at the end of his football career. All right. So we have. Let's shift over to the state championship games now. They started Thursday night, which Josh was at that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll touch on the other games that were on Friday night and Friday and Saturday. We were kind of texting a little bit during the Glenville game specifically, because I was, no joke, I was watching it during work. It is what it is. It's like a mini March Madness. Hit the boss button when someone comes in. It's all good. Josh, talk about your experience at the state championship game Thursday night for the Division II state championship, a rematch between Avon and Cincinnati Anderson.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Yeah, first off, big thanks to the OHSAA for providing the support, giving Sports on Tap the ability to be at that state championship game. Now, my experience was a little less snowy than Rob's was last year, but I think mine might have been a little colder, as the feel right temperature was about 10 degrees at the end of that game. But yeah, good experience. Both teams came out ready to go. When I got there early, Avon was actually out on the field first. Their offensive linemen, speaking of offensive linemen, offensive, defensive linemen were out there, cutoffs, getting used to the weather, the conditions. And it really showed, because as the game got started, it was all Avon. One thing that I learned about Anderson, Cincinnati Anderson, from their coach, Evan Dreyer, from the post-game press conference, is he does not like the punt. And I think that kind of hurt them at the beginning of the games. Avon was their defense. We talked about their defense all season long. That front seven that they have, especially that D line, the ability to move guys in and out, the athletes that they have on that line, they were able to get many fourth down stops deep in Anderson territory that provided a short field for the Eagles on offense. And Blake Elder and crew, Keontae, the running back, had a great game. Blake Elder, though, was on point. 4 touchdown passes in this game, actually tied a Division II state championship game record with his 4 touchdown passes. And he was in command all day. If it wasn't there, if Anderson had the receivers blocked up, he was able to scramble, gain yards, gain first downs. The Avon running game was just ready to go. Give credit to Coach Elder. He had his team ready to go. In my opinion, in a situation, you won the game last year, you're coming to repeat. So you could either be really tense, stressed out about it, a little nervous. But that was not the Avon Eagles in this game. They had a game plan in place. They were confident, and they executed that game plan. And I think it had a lot to do with their defense was able to have short fields for them, and their offense was able to make the plays. Now, in the second half of the game, as I mentioned, In the first half, Avon was up at one point 21-0. But the second half of the game, Anderson had got a little bit on a roll. They do have their one wide receiver, if I can remember his name, Tyson Weaver. Really good, solid athlete. Big kid, was really able to make some plays, not only catching the ball, but after he caught the ball, yards after the catch. He did a really nice job. They were able to get some momentum going a little bit, scored on their first drive coming out in the second half. But just, again, Avon's defense just really came to play. Would get big stops. Excuse me, Casey came there. Avon's defense was really able to make the big stops when they need it, especially in the second half on fourth down. And the Avon offense was able to convert with points. And that's a recipe for a win. And then Avon came away with their second straight state championship. So it was a really good performance, really happy. Coach Elder was talking about it at the end of the game in the press conference that, this is he's grown up with these kids. He's had these kids, a lot of these kids, ever since they were little. And it was just a great performance, especially from, the quarterback, his son. So good stuff.
Yeah, and Keontae Smith, we just showed the running back for Avon. He scored a touchdown there. But, you talk about Blake Elder, and one thing I noticed, Josh, with your highlight video, I'm showing it right now, and you did a great job putting the score up. And, you got every highlight possible, I swear, on this one. But Blake Elder, the quarterback for Avon, one thing I thought he did really well is he went through progressions in this game. He was scanning the field, and that's kind of what he did all year long. You can tell with his accuracy. He might only throw 18 passes, but he'll be 15, 16, 17 for 18 and throw for 260 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was like an every game appearance for him, and I think Coach Elder knew what he could handle and how accurate he was. He has a very strong arm. He's accurate with it, and he knows when to put down the ball. He's more of a pocket passer, but he did a great job using his legs when he needed to, and you could just tell how comfortable he was. And we'll have Grant Barr on at 8:20 here today to talk about it a little bit. But him and Grant Barr, man, what a connection they had, and that's a kid that makes big play after big play, whether it's one-handed catches or deep catches for touchdowns. He could have 2 catches for 80 yards, and one was a 50-yard touchdown pass. He's just that kind of explosive player. But Avon just has too many explosive players, and it looked like Anderson got down in this game, and it was tough for them to come back. They made a little bit of a comeback, it looked like, and put a few points on the board, but Avon's just too good. Fundamentally and technique-wise, they don't make very many mistakes.
Yeah, and again, going back to, I'm sorry, just real quick, again, going back to it, Avon was prepared for Anderson, their high-tempo offense. They were prepared. They were not surprised by anything. So that is where their defense came in handy, came into play, and dominated. And Rob, one point about Blake Elder with his time, able to go through progressions, give props to his offensive line. They were giving him plenty of time. And when the play did break down, he was able to either dump it off or use his own legs to get yardage. And that's just good coaching.
And even think about this, guys. Before coming into this season, one of the Avon players who led them to their state championship, Jeremiah Kelly, passed away during the offseason. And that's just been a driving force to how Coach Elder has just been driving this team this whole offseason. They put the helmets on LLJK, live like Jeremiah Kelly. And even when they could, the coin toss, they bring out his number 73 jersey just to represent what a great kid. Coach Taylor kind of talked about how great of a kid he was, helped leading them to their first state championship last year. And when we talked to Coach Elder on before the year, it's not about the repeat. It's about this group, trying to write their own story. And it's just amazing. Just hear what Coach Elder said in the post-game interview. You guys wrote your own story. It's not about what happened last year. It's about what happened this year. And it's just so special to see how these guys wrote their own story. And they'll be remembered forever as the back-to-back state championships. But not only for this senior class, it's special because they wrote their own story this season. And it's very special to see Coach Elder see some of the younger guys like he coached when they were like so young coming out of youth football. And it's just incredible to see how Avon has just been coming through back-to-back this season.
That game was, yeah, and Josh, great job with the coverage, the video. I mean, it's being able to provide that, exactly what we provide on a weekly basis on a full state stage, is a tremendous privilege that a few of us here at Sports on Tap have been able to take advantage of, and Josh certainly did that this year. It certainly helps when we have one of our teams in our coverage area make it to that level. But it's Avon again has proven they're the top of Division Two for 2 years running, and they haven't lost a game in the state of Ohio since 2023. So they're going to go about almost 2 or 3 calendar years without losing a game to anyone in the state of Ohio. That is a very, very impressive resume that many public schools don't have a chance to be able to pull that off, especially the bigger ones that are located in more populous areas. No disrespect to some of the smaller schools like Kirtland, Maria Stein Marion Local, and those types, but there just are there's not a whole lot of other options for division for there's no parochial options down there for kids to go to that are, for lack of a better term, prestigious as going to a St. Ed's, a St. Ignatius, down in the Cincinnati area, St. X, Moeller, those types of schools. And we saw St. X make it to the state championship this year, which we'll go over here shortly. So congratulations to Coach Elder. And we will have Grant Barr and Blake Elder on here shortly to talk about their seasons and what they have going on, maybe for life outside of Avon football as they graduate and make room for the next group of Avon Eagles to continue that program going.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ed. Just real quick, it's curious because it's really super hard to repeat as a state champion. It's even harder to win it for a third year in a row. And a lot of key components of this state championship team will be graduating, and that's including the quarterback, some of your team leaders. So it's going to be interesting to see how Elder and the coaching staff who's going to be stepping into those roles and how well they can coach them up and to make another run in 2026. We'll see.
Absolutely. All right, so with that, let's get back this. Division II state championships, Avon gets a 37-20 victory over Cincinnati Anderson. All right, the Division I state championship. This game was played Friday night, and it was between a first-time appearance in Olentangy Orange taking on Cincinnati St. Xavier. And Olentangy Orange, they took it to the Bombers. They win their first ever state championship and their first ever appearance by a score of 28-14. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this score, and that's mostly based off of the reputation of St. Xavier. Not so much off the how good Olentangy Orange has been this year. It's not very often you see a team that's been there once take out a team that's been there 9 times, but Olentangy Orange, they put together this year. This postseason run they were on was phenomenal. They took out the defending Division I state champions and their neighbors in Liberty. They took out St. Ed's, and they complete the trifecta by taking out St. X.
Yeah, unbelievable. 15-0 season, taking it out. You mentioned some of the teams that they took out. For that program, I mean, this is an all-timer. I mean, this is setting the bar next year for this team very, very high. We mentioned how strong Division II is, and a lot of people out there think some of these Division II teams can compete with Division I teams, and I believe that as well. But to go on a run like Orange did, just fantastic. Congratulations to them. St. Xavier coming off that big, regional finals win at, I believe, or the state semifinal. One of the 2 games was at the Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. 22,000 people at that game, and then to come and lose against Orange. Tough for them, but congratulations going out to Olentangy Orange.
All right, so Olentangy Orange with their first state championship, and they will be the hunted for sure next year in Division I. All right, we talked about Division II, Avon 37, Anderson 20. The Division III state championship, Columbus Bishop Watterson
Wow.
absolutely handles Toledo Central Catholic. That's not very often you see Toledo Central Catholic taking on the chin like they did here, but man, Bishop Watterson was on a different level here, and they proved their championship medal something fierce here. This is their Bishop Watterson's 4th state championship in school history, and for Toledo Central Catholic back to the drawing board. Another great season. It was interesting. I was watching a little bit of the coverage of the Rocky River game against Toledo Central Catholic, more for the recap, and hearing the newscasters up at in Toledo kind of talk about Toledo Central Catholic and how they, how some teams, people up there counting them out a little bit because they lost a few games in the regular season, and I think that's asinine. I mean, the league that they play in is absolutely insane because they play teams from Detroit in their league, and those league teams are elite teams in Detroit, in the Detroit area. So, I mean, it takes a lot to do something to Central Catholic, and Watterson did it. So, congratulations to Bishop Watterson, 30-0 over Toledo Central Catholic. All right, the Division IV state championship between the Glenville Tarblooders and the Shelby Whippets, and this was Shelby's first ever state championship run, and going against a team in Glenville that was looking for their 3rd state championship in 4 years. This was their 5th appearance overall, and this game it started out. I watched this game during work.
No, you didn't.
A little bit
on his lunch.
Yeah, of course, on lunch, 100%. This
game
long was
lunch.
It started out close. Glenville was unable to was able to get momentum going in their favor. A lot of penalties went against them. Some of them were legitimate penalties. Some of them maybe not have been. There were some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that forced Glenville to go a lot farther than they needed to go. But that said, their defense was fantastic against an All-Ohio, a Mr. Football finalist in Braden DeVito, and they just completely overwhelmed Shelby. You see the talent that's on Glenville. They were flying all over the place. Their offensive linemen were opening up holes for their running back. There were some. It was just the one drive they had. It was a scoring drive. It was a 75-yard drive on paper. They may have traveled about 150 to 170 because of penalties. Like it's insane how well they were able to cover up for some of their mistakes, just because they're fast, they're athletic, they're tough, they're able to move bodies. They're an extremely well coached team, and I was impressed by this. They sometimes the kicking bug has bit them more than once. Even specifically going back to their first state championship appearance, that didn't happen here. They made field. Their kicker, his last name was Lemons, sophomore, drilled a 34-yard field goal into the wind. A very, very good showing by their kicker, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a kicking guy. I mean, it obviously makes a difference in an elite program like Glenville. That's been the missing component in these closer games. Now, this ended up not being a closer game, but you seize momentum when you're able to take a 10-7 lead, and that's exactly what happened there. They didn't come away with no points and give Shelby that extra momentum that maybe they didn't need to give if they were able to not convert on that. So, so congratulations to Glenville, 3rd championship in 4 seasons. I think that was a 45-7 victory. It was 40. It was not close, and I apologize. I don't have the score right in front of me. That's a bad job out of me. So Glenville gets a big victory there. The Division V state championship was between Wheelersburg. 45-7. Good.
Right on.
I guessed right. All right, the Division V state championship. 2 undefeated teams in Wheelersburg versus Liberty Center. And this game, Liberty Center ends up getting the victory here. So congratulations to Liberty Center. For them, this is their first state championship since 1997. That's a long time to go without winning a state championship there. Let's see if I can. So congratulations to Liberty Center getting a victory over there. The Division 6 state championship was played between Kirtland and Bascom Hopewell Loudon. And Kirtland coming into this game undefeated. They were looking for their 8th state championship. This was their 3rd state championship appearance for Hopewell Loudon. And the Hornets get a 41-6 victory over Hopewell Loudon. And, Kirtland, we've seen what these... We're very familiar with what Tiger Laverty and the team can do. And it was no different this year. They just, they had a 4-year starting quarterback in Jake Laverty. And they're a powerhouse. I don't see too many kids from Kirtland. Kirtland has a program that is almost unmatched up here. The definition of a program, right? They reload. Kids who go to Kirtland want to play for Kirtland. They don't want to go anywhere else, and they've built a fantastic program there. So, congratulations to Coach Laverty and the Hornets. That is their 8th state championship. Last and certainly not least, the Division 7 state championship between St. Henry and Jeromesville Hillsdale. For Hillsdale, this was their 2nd consecutive appearance in the Division 7 state championship, and unfortunately, it was their 2nd consecutive running clock they suffered at the hands of the state championship. This one to St. Henry. Now, St. Henry is pretty good because they defeated Maria Stein Marion Local, the defending Division 7 state champion who took it to Hillsdale last year. St. Henry does the same here, 37-3 for St. Henry. It was their first state championship since 2006. Hillsdale is still looking for their first state championship in school history. Now, a stat I read over the weekend with St. Henry winning this championship, they are in the Midwestern Athletic Conference. That also has Coldwater and Maria Stein Marion Local.
Ooh.
And between that conference, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've either been to or won 21 state championships out of the last 23 seasons.
Wow.
So
that's pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's not terrible. That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good conference there.
It's a chocolate milk effort. That's chocolate milk conference.
Yeah, lots of chocolate milk coming the max way as far as what that conference is for them down there. So St. Henry 37-3. So that is the state championship recaps. The final games have been played, and
Crazy.
we started this, and when we started this about 20 weeks ago now, just talking about, talking to the coaches, previewing their seasons. The fact that it's all come and gone, a lot of things have happened. It's a little overwhelming to think about everything that's transpired there. So again, we can't thank the coaches, the student athletes, and athletic directors enough for making their teams available to us to help us do what we want to do here.
I want to also shout out Mother Nature, because this was by far probably the best.
Touche.
We had the best weather for Friday night football coverage.
No doubt.
Granted, it got cold towards the end of the season. Yeah, it happens, but
I
no
agree.
monsoons, no heavy snowstorms. Pretty decent. And I think we can all consider ourselves very lucky that the weather this year turned into a good thing for us.
I will agree to that.
Definitely.
And Josh has now just jinxed us, because that means we're going to have blizzards for every hockey game we try and stream going forward.
Well, at least we're indoors, although we still have to drive there. Let's hope not. But yeah, we got lucky.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that.
That's true. We got lucky, though. You're right about that, Josh. I mean, the weather was 60s and 70s into like week 9, I think it was. So
it was very pleasant.
That's for sure. We got lucky, and we saw a lot of great football. And Ed, you did a great job thanking the athletic directors, the coaches. We can't thank you guys enough for all your help in making this season a success and a lot of fun and getting players on. We talk to a lot of coaches and athletic directors to get players on because that's mostly what people want to hear. And it's been a lot of fun, and we can't thank you guys enough. Yep.
What?
I know.
That's what they most want to hear? They don't want to hear us?
Well, I mean,
of course they want to hear us.
Yeah.
But no. As we've talked about off the air, the numbers do not lie. Turns out a lot of people don't want to hear us talk as much as they want to hear student athletes talk. So we will make a more concerted effort to make sure we are getting your favorite student athlete on the show to talk about the programs, to talk about what they have going on, because that's infinitely more interesting than what we're doing. Programming note, real quick. I did not give the score for the Division 5 state championship, so I'll make sure I read that out. Liberty Center with a 35-3 victory over Wheelersburg for their state championship in Division 5. The interesting thing is you go through all these weeks, you go through 5 weeks of playoffs now, and you still got a lot of blowouts, all things considered.
Which is surprising, actually. I thought they'd be a little bit closer, some of these games.
Yeah, no kidding. And the Avon and the Amsterdam game ended up being the best game out of the entire group for all things considered. I mean, the Olin Tangi and X game was probably closer than it really was, and then a lot of the other games were just straight blowouts. Quite honestly. Mm-hmm. It's interesting when you go through your region, you make it to your state championship game, and I think there's always a looming team out there that is probably gonna do some damage. Toledo Central Catholic for the longest time was that, Maria Stein Marion Local. So the teams that beat them before they get the championship, that's the team you gotta look out for, and that certainly proved out true with St. Henry taking out Hillsdale as well as they did. So. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have Avon wide receiver and defensive back Grant Barr joining us. Following that, we'll have Avon quarterback Blake Elder, and then we're going to talk about some of the changes that are going to be going on next season. And as we wrap up the show, as we wrap up the 2025 football season, this is Sports on Tap's coverage of the high school football season, presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance, and we'll be right back.
Sports on Taps Hockey Night in Northeast Ohio is brought to you by Brunswick Auto Mart. You can visit them online at www.brunswickautomart.com or go visit them at 3031 Center Road in Brunswick.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Raymond Felton State Farm is here to defend you from life's unexpected hits with coverage that fits your game plan. Get a free quote today at www.rayfelton.com or call 234-284-2996. Raymond Felton State Farm will help build the game plan that fits your needs.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's Troutland, @gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.
Tap. This is our high school football recap show presented by Raymond Felton, State Farm Insurance. We want to thank Max Riley from Avon Lake joining us on earlier in the show. Josh went over his experience at the state championship game, but in the Division II state championship game specifically between Avon and Cincinnati Anderson. We're going to be talking with Avon quarterback Blake Elder here in about 15 minutes. But right now we are joined by Avon wide receiver and defensive back. He's a first-team All-District choice for 2025, which means he's got an All-State bid coming his way as well. We're joined by Grant Barr from the two-time state defending state champion now, Avon Eagles. Grant, congratulations on another successful season. There's nothing more successful than winning the state championship. For lack of a better question to start, how you feeling, and how has it been since that state championship was won?
It's been great. Just it's a little weird that my career at Avon's over, but it's a little saddening. But I mean, I had great memories, and like everything that I did at Avon, like I don't regret any of it.
It's hard to regret leaving with two state championships. And this season was the season you had a lot of injuries you had to overcome, and you had and you specifically shifting focus more from the offensive side to the defensive side. Talk about your experience on the defensive end, in addition to you being an absolute weapon on the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, once playoff comes up, like rotations shorten, and people that like play, the people that can contribute and can help the most, they get to play. And so with injuries and a little bit of iffiness, I got lucky to play defense, which I was kind of jabbing at like defensive coordinator, like everyone that I could, like, hey, let me play defense. So they let me play a little safety, and so I'm thankful for that.
Brad, thank you for taking the time and joining us tonight, and congratulations on winning back-to-back state titles. I always got to talk about your one-handed catch, because I feel like whenever me and Rob are out there covering you guys' games, I feel like you're able to make those one-handed catch. Dating back to last year, I feel like it started. I was very fortunate in one of my videos against when you made that heck of a one-handed catch against Ignatius, and my video was very fortunate to be on SportsCenter next to that. And then Rob's was against Glenville, which it was an incompletion, but the refs called it complete. And that, to be honest, it looked like it was incomplete, but we're going to play it by
No,
ear.
They said it was a catch. It doesn't matter. It's a catch, baby.
It was a catch. But, and then you made that one-handed catch, and I was at the game against Highland in the regional championship. But talk about what was the best one-handed catch out of all those three. Talk about what was the best one-handed catch that you've ever had at Avon.
There's those three and like a few in practice, but like I'd say the one against Ignatius, like you could say they called it out of bounds, so it wasn't a catch. And you could say Glenville, like it may or may not hit the ground, so it wasn't a catch. But you can't take the Highland one away from me, so I'll say that one's my favorite.
I think you were in on that Ignatius one. I slow-mowed that thing, and I still thought you caught that ball and landed inbounds. But, yeah, you had a lot of great catches this year. There's no doubt about that. You've been a weapon, and you and Blake seem to really connect all season long.
Yeah, I mean, Blake's been my quarterback forever. He's my best friend, and we hung out. Like we knew we had to have a strong connection if we were going to be good. So we spent all the off season like we would spend basically like every day or every other day together, just like hanging out, being friends, right? But
Nice.
like just getting together, like going to the field, throwing balls, just having a strong chemistry and a connection. Like it just helped out the whole season.
Absolutely.
Hey, Grant, I want to go back to the game on Thursday. You know, you played Cincinnati Anderson for the second year in a row. Can you just talk about how the preparation was different for this game coming into it, if at all? And, you know, do you feel like you guys were better prepared for not only the opponent, but the atmosphere and how, you know, operating in a state championship game is?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we definitely had more experience and more film as well because of the game prior. So, I mean, we were definitely prepared last year, but I guess in some senses you could say we're more prepared this year just because we had more film and there have been a lot of people that had played in that game last year.
Yeah, Grant, talk a little bit about some of the matchups. I mean, you guys played some hard teams this year. You know, you went to Florida. You guys lost that one, but talk a little bit about, you know, you played Glenville, you played Ignatius. Was there a player on defense that gave you any fits this year? Because it seemed like you had one good catch after another, big play catches. If it wasn't, you know, you guys were down, you would catch a 50-yard touchdown pass. I mean, it was always you making the big-time catches. But was there a player that seemed to really give you fits this season?
I mean, there are definitely a lot of good corners that I've faced over the season, but like, fits, like, I think I did, I held my own against everybody. So, I think that,
There's nobody that gave you any problems this year.
some could say.
Yeah, I like the confidence, man.
It's a fair statement. It's a fair statement. We're talking with Avon wide receiver and safety Grant Barr. You know, Grant, your first 2 years at Avon as a freshman and a sophomore, you guys were on the tail. You know, you guys are, and even going in your junior year, Hoban had been in your guys' way. Last year, you cleared that hurdle and got to the state championship game. How big of it for your program was it to finally get past a team that had given you guys so many fits over the years, and now you have a team in Highland that's chasing you guys. You know, that's exactly where you want to be as a program, as being the hunted. But you know, how was it getting? And I'm taking you back to last year a little bit here, but you were a starter, so how was it clearing that hurdle in your progression as a program?
Yeah, I mean, they were always like who we were kind of aiming for. I mean, they were what like 6-0 against us until last year, and I feel like just getting like having confidence that all right, we can do it this year, and we did because we were so close my sophomore year. We were a field goal away from overtime, and you know that really sucked. And you know we kind of had the mentality going into next season like it does. Like we'd love to play Hoban, but it doesn't really matter who we play. Like this is the team, and we're gonna win every game until the last one. So I think getting that win over Hoban, like it was really like monumental for like the program, yeah. But it was just more about like we're gonna win every single game.
You know, Grant, it's been an amazing fall for the Avon Eagles this season. You know, you guys going back to back this year, but not only did you guys win a state championship, no, the boys soccer team won a state championship, the volleyball team won a state championship, both on the same day. I can't even remember two state championships where the Avon Eagles won in the same day. That is still insane to this day talking about it. But it's time to talk about how awesome is it just to see the other teams, like the soccer team, the volleyball team, especially for you guys going back to back. How special is it to see how Avon is able to have success in the fall this season, and how awesome is it for the community and Avon in general?
Yeah, I mean I've got friends on like both the teams. So we were at a bunch of my friends. There was a ton of people at the soccer game, like 2.5 hour drive, and like that didn't matter to us. Like we were gonna go support our guys, and we would have been able to go down to the volleyball game, but it was like another hour drive. But the game started like during the soccer game, so that kind of sucked. But I mean, as soon as the soccer team won, and then we watched in the car the volleyball team win, like we knew like we've got no option. Like if we don't win, then it'd be like kind of like a letdown. It's kind of the wrong term, but it'd be kind of a letdown if like two teams won and then you have a football team and they didn't win. So
yeah, more motivation for you guys. And actually the kick in soccer, that probably was one of the best kicks I've ever seen. I mean, it was like from 40 yards out in a corner.
That goal was awesome.
That goal was featured on SportsCenter.
Yeah. I've seen that a few times. I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, they're just a little sad for that because we didn't get to like rush the field. We just had to stay on like the outside, so that was the only downside of it. But that was like I was there, saw it. Like, is that going in? Oh my God, he just made it with 45.
Well, I can only imagine.
You guys, all your teams are really putting the pressure on next year's fall sports teams. So, but that's one thing that you won't really have to be concerned with. But Grant, going back, the post game press conference, Coach Elder was really kind of reminiscing about how, the group that was up there with him, like he's kind of grown up with him as well, coaching you guys from not only football but baseball. Just, talk about how that growth has for you. Kind of knowing Blake and Coach Elder ever since you were younger, and then growing through the program, and then obviously ending your high school career as champions. Just talk about that journey that you guys have all taken with each other.
Yeah, I mean, we've all grown up together, and Coach Elder was one of the youth coaches, and we had multiple teams. My dad was one of the coaches. Like he mentioned in the interview that like my dad and him were kind of rival coaches, and I would say it was probably a 50-50, even though I will say they kind of got, with Coach Elder being their coach, they kind of got the upper hand with like the talent, maybe I'd say, but my team just had a bunch of dogs on it, so I'd say the games were like split 50-50, I'd say. So I mean, just having my whole like life, my whole football career, just having like the same people around it, it's just so special, and it's just such a blessing.
Hey, Grant, we'll get you out of here on this note. Well, I don't want to waste a question on that because the season's already over. So you're also a track and field a sprinter. What events do you run in track and field?
Well, we'll have to see. I'm not really sure, but last year it was 100, 200, 4x1, 4x2. So maybe it'll be the same. Maybe, they threw me in a 400 one time and it didn't work so well. So hopefully I'll just stick with those 4.
Yeah, wherever the track coach says kind of goes in that respect, right? Like they got to give it a go there. I understand you also have a few some college prospects. Where are you looking at going, and for what sport, and what do you want to study?
Yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere and play football. I'm not really sure yet. For me, like I'm late in the recruiting process. I'm kind of a later guy. I didn't like get onto the scene until like camp, like this season of camps, because I didn't get like the end of my junior year during my basketball season, or in my sophomore season. I tore my meniscus in basketball, but then played the rest of basketball season and a little bit of baseball. So then I didn't get a sophomore summer to like get my name out there, or a junior summer rather, before my junior season. So just I'm still working with like every opportunity I can get. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just go somewhere and play football.
Well, whoever is the lucky school to get you to go there is going to be a better school for it.
Absolutely.
You put together a tremendous career at Avon. Congratulations on your career, your back-to-back state championships. You've done all you can for Avon, and I know you're going to do some great things for yourself in your next college. So congratulations, and the future's pretty bright for you. So we're looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. It's good talking to you guys.
Thanks, Grant. You too.
Thanks, Grant.
buddy.
Yes, sir. See you.
All right, that is Avon wide receiver and safety Grant Barr joining us. First team All-District selection so far this year which will guarantee him an all state selection coming up here in probably this week. I think is when those are going to come out. So let's shift from the receiver to the quarterback. We are joined by the Lorain County Golden Helmet Award winner. He is the Offensive Player of the Year for the Division II Northeast Lakes District as well. He's got himself guaranteed an all-state bid coming up here soon as well. We're joined by also two-time state champion Blake Elder, quarterback, joining us. Blake, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for taking time to join us. Yeah, have you come down from the celebration yet?
Yeah, I had time. I feel like the first day when we won it, I was in a bunch of shock. But now the past couple days, I've been really taking it in. But now I'm coming down a little.
Did you guys have school the next day? Like, did you guys have to go to school on Friday?
Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't there. I think it was like a 10-10 start. But
I know they had you guys had a parade, right? Or hasn't that happened yet?
Oh no, we have a parade Sunday at 1, but we have like a little tree lighting ceremony with all of our teams.
Nice.
So all the state championship teams. So that was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, Grant mentioned you had to keep up with the Joneses by having to win your own state championship since the other, since soccer and volleyball took one down. You guys had to hold serve there, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we want to show we're the best classes in Avon history, so we had to win the third one.
I don't know too many schools that have won 3 state championships in the same fall season, let alone 3 championships in the same school year. That is phenomenal. But focusing more on the football part of it, what a tremendous year, Blake. I've heard some interviews and as talking with you and your dad after the game on the TV coverage. This is your first year starting. You spelled in the playoffs a few years ago in some really high leverage games, but you played JV for the last 2 years. How important was that JV experience that got you ready to be the full-time starter unequivocally this year as a senior?
I mean, JV, I'm not gonna lie, it might have been the best time of my life. That was the most fun games ever, and it's so important. I mean, freshman year, I was nowhere close to being a good quarterback, but these JV games and experiences, and I think what's most important about these JV games is that our varsity coaches are coaching us. So it feels like you're getting varsity reps just against a little dumbed down opponents. But yeah, those games are super important to prepare us.
Blake, thank you for taking the time and joining us tonight. Congratulations on winning back-to-back state championships. Again, a huge accomplishment for your team. I know your dad has been the head coach for 18 years at Avon, and I'm sure it's really special not only just to share this title with your dad, but to share it of you being a starting quarterback to win this team. Just talk about how special is this moment to share this title with your dad, being a starting quarterback, and now getting your chance to lead this team in your senior season.
I mean, it was super special. This is what I've dreamed for the past 18 years. All I've wanted to do is win a state championship, be the starting quarterback, and it really happened, which is crazy. And it happened last year, but I wasn't playing, so I don't even think I deserved to get a ring for that one. So I knew this year that I had to be the one to lead the team, and I wanted to get my own. So that's what I did.
Blake, again, congratulations, man. It's a huge accomplishment to win a state championship, let alone back-to-back state championship. I want to talk a little bit about that offensive line that's been in front of you because I was able to see it against Walsh. Josh was able to see it last week. Noah saw it against Highland. 3 very good defenses, and it looked like you had all the time in the world back there to kind of pick apart that defense. Can you talk a little bit about that offensive line that's been protecting you and opening up what I can only describe as giant holes in the middle of the field for this running game to like I said, you could run 3 or 4 of those guys through there.
Yeah, I mean, this offensive line is it's probably the best in the state. We got Max Houck playing tackle, probably one of the best tackles in the state. Ian Engelhart, he's the other tackle. We won the state championship, and he started wrestling the day after. He's just a great character, great guy. And then the 3 guys in the middle, they just did a remarkable job. It's just insane. And I mean, they had holes the whole day. I don't even think I got sacked in the state championship. I probably got sacked 5 times the whole year. They just did an amazing job for me.
I counted, and I don't think you were even touched by anybody at the Walsh game. unless they fell down at your feet, which again I don't count as a quarterback touch at that point. But
no, yeah, absolutely.
Hey Blake, let's talk a little bit about the game. You tied the Division II state championship record with 4 touchdown passes, but just kind of talk about the prep going into the game, what you saw on the offensive end, and talk about how you were able to get pretty much all your receivers and Keontae involved as well. He was a stud running the ball. Just talk about the weapons that you have at your disposal for this game and the prep you had.
Yeah, I mean, our receivers, they're all incredibly talented, and I think the fact that I threw for 4 touchdowns to 4 different players just shows the depth we had. And at the start of the game, we struggled the first possession, but then that big turnover, kind of got us a spark. So then I think after I threw that first touchdown, our offense just started rolling. And I think on the defensive side for them, they really wanted to stop the run and make us beat them, like throwing the ball. So I believe that that's what we did in the first half, and we got out to our early lead. And then the second half, we just had to run the ball, chew some clock, and Keontae just did an amazing job.
I want to add on to that because for Anderson, their coach admitted after the game that they don't like to punt. So they're pretty much going for it on 4th down. And your defense was definitely up to the challenge of getting those stops, multiple turnovers on downs. How does that affect the offense when your defense is there and is playing at a high level and can get those stops on 4th down?
I mean, that game, our defense did an amazing job, first of all. But that game, I don't remember us having to drive a whole field. And as an offense, I mean, if you only have to go 50 yards, it's pretty easy to do. So that's what we did the first half. We only had to go 50 yards. Our defense did a great job getting stops, and I mean that's why we got an early lead.
Yeah, Blake, talk a little bit about how comfortable you were in this offense, because a lot of times you look at your stats and some games you only pass, maybe 20 times, but you complete 18 passes. You're 18 of 20 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. That seemed like a regular thing for you this year. What really seemed to work offensively, and the offensive staff, what did they do to make you feel comfortable passing the ball this year?
So on offense, we're just extremely balanced. So I'm not going to go out there and throw 40 times if I don't have to. So the 18 times, 20 times I throw a game, I mean, that's all I had to do. And we're running the ball half, we're throwing the ball half. But balanced, we would say, we mean if we have to run the ball, we're going to run the ball. If we have to pass the ball, we have to pass the ball. So like a game like Berea, I mean, I probably threw the ball 35 times, but that's just because we had 2 backs out and they were forcing us to throw it. So
does that make you feel oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to add a quick note. Yeah, if you've probably forced 40 pass attempts, not only would you hear it from the head coach at practice, but you probably have hear it a little bit more when you really don't want to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Talking with Avon senior quarterback Blake Elder, coming off a state championship victory over Cincinnati Anderson. Blake, I'm interested. I didn't ask this question to Grant, but I will ask it to you. How has the last few years of deep playoff runs helped your development as a quarterback, especially having sat behind Nolan Good for a few years, even with you playing in those playoff games as a sophomore? But how important were those extra weeks of practice in your development and some of your teammates as well?
Those extra weeks of practice are literally just a whole other season just to get better. And being behind players like Nolan Good, I mean, he's taught me everything I know. Like, he taught me how to lead. He taught me how to control the offense. I mean, he's been there for me the whole time. And then, yeah, those practices were super important. I mean, we just got better every week.
Blake, before the season began, obviously one of the teammates from last season, Jeremiah Kelly, passed away this offseason, and you guys had that mantra on your guys' helmet, LOJK, live like Jeremiah Kelly, and I could see the number 73 jersey coming out even before the coin toss and that. Talk about how special the state championship win was for you guys, just to be able to do it for Jeremiah, and that. Just kind of talk about how special is it just to be doing this for him throughout the whole season and that.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah, he's the greatest person I ever met, and I'm just so proud we got to go out there and win. Like I felt him with us the whole year. I'm just super proud that we did it for him, and I'm just blessed.
Blake, we talk a lot about special teams, not the the side of the ball special team, but special classes and things like that go through a school, and obviously not every class gets to cap it the way this class particularly did that this year. Can you talk a little bit about just how it's been? You've grown up with a lot of the guys that you're graduating with this year. You've been a part of this Avon program, your entire life. Just kind of touch a little bit upon how special it is for you to be that leader, that senior quarterback, obviously with the added pressure of being the coach's son, and we know what comes with that to a certain extent. But how special has it been to play with these guys pretty much since you guys were peewees all the way up through this, magical run and shining moment?
It's so special. I mean, these have been my friends for life, and ever since little kids, this is all we dreamed for, and we knew we were going to be good. And we've literally talked about this our whole lives, and I don't even think we lost 10 games as a team throughout our whole career. So we knew that we had a good chance to do this, and I'm glad we did.
So, excuse me. So, Blake, what's next on your agenda, man? I mean, that you got 2 state football championships. What's the next thing on your bucket list that you want to take care of as you go through your senior year?
Got to be a parade.
Oh yeah, definitely a parade on Sunday. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, right now I'm just in the off season right now, but I'm planning to play baseball. Again, hopefully have a good season. Last year I had a torn labrum, so I didn't really get to play too much. But hopefully I have a great season this year and do good things.
Now, Blake, do you know where you're going to college, and are you planning to play football in college, or what are you going to college for as well?
Right now I'm undecided, but I think I'm planning on being like a student assistant somewhere and start coaching. I'm not planning on playing football because I'm not really allowed to because my doctor. I haven't really been able to lift heavy, but
okay. So
I think that my football career is going to be over.
Well, there's no better way to end that as early as it is, and as for how much you want to keep playing. But you picked. There's no better way to go out than what you did as a state champion. So congratulations on your season. Congratulations for yourself, your community, your team, your coach Elder. We've been really privileged to be able to cover your team over the course of the last few years, and watching your team get to the pinnacle of the sport. So congratulations to you, and we can't wait to see what you have going on, and hopefully when we see you become an awesome coach, we'll be reaching out to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blake.
And I just want to say thank you guys for doing these videos all year. I mean, I've watched them all year, and it's just you guys do an awesome job.
Hey, we appreciate
that,
it.
Blake.
We appreciate it, Blake.
Maybe we'll have you come back on and break down some film and some of these high school games.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and it was great talking to you all season long. Congratulations again, and have a great baseball season coming up.
Yep. Thank you so much.
That is Avon senior quarterback Blake Elder. Going out on top as a few quarterbacks have done in their pro careers. A tremendous individual season, and as he mentioned, he's quick to credit the offensive line, his weapons on offense, and the defense for putting his team, putting his offense in such great positions. We talked about this last year with Coach Elder after their championship game against Cincinnati Anderson. Josh, the point about them Anderson refusing to punt for all intents and purposes, they knew that going into it this year. Avon, you see it on film, you may not believe it until you see it, but now that they've seen it twice in a row, I have to imagine it helps the defense out knowing you're not trying to get a 3 and out. You have to do a 4 and out. And that I think that adjusts your defensive mindset a little bit there, right?
Oh, for sure. It's no different if you're on offense and you're going to be going for it on 4th down. If it's 3rd and whatever, that you have 2 plays to get that 1st down. Same thing on defense. Hey, it's 3rd down. It may be 3rd and 8, but they're going to be going for it. So why don't we go after them now and put them deeper in their own territory and get the stop on 4th down? And that is exactly what their defense did. Blake mentioned it right there. When you have a short field, which they did majority of that first half, they're able to capitalize and in early in the second quarter they were already up 21-0. So pretty good start to them for that game.
I think it also speaks to, the character of that team from a standpoint of, the adversity they had to face coming into this year. There is that expectation to repeat, and they went out and did it, and they had adversity in losing a player like Jeremiah Kelly and having to deal with that, and there was a lot heaped on them. And then, they traveled out of state for the second game and had to deal with the defeat. I mean, we look at this Avon team, and not only that, but you look at just the Southwestern Conference that we talk about all the time. Avon is a battle to come out of this region alone, to have to go through Highland every time. And Highland is no slouch, and to be a lower seed for the first time this year. They've dealt with more adversity this year than I think they had to last year. And I think it was harder. So I think that makes it, a little bit sweeter for that team after all the things they had, because there was that expectation. Can we do it again? Are we a one and done team? And there's no shame in being a one and, can't repeat, because we don't see it that often. But Avon, accepted that challenge as a culture, as a program, and was able to climb that mountain again and, defeat a team in excuse me.
Oh boy.
Sean's tiring himself.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I just, when you look at a team and Josh, you hit it right on the head. If you know a team's not going to go for it or not going to pump the ball, that does put added pressure. But I think it also creates big opportunities for that defensive line, because they know if they can stop them even once in a 4-down set, then you can pin your ears back and go after that quarterback. And we talked to the guys that did that in Dawson. And the other defensive lineman, I can't remember his name right now. And they were talking about how their goal every time that ball is snapped is to get into the backfield and create havoc. And that's what they did all year. And that, if I'm the quarterback of that team and Blake Elder, he's probably like, guys, do that and give me under 50 yards to have to score, because that makes life a whole lot easier on any quarterback. And taking nothing away from the athletic ability of Blake Elder. Just you do that for any quarterback, and they're gonna reward that defense. And you saw that all year. They gave him the opportunity, and he rewarded them, whether it was on the ground or through the air.
Yeah, and just to kind of wrap up that this game and Avon season, not only did they have to deal with the thought of repeating, they dealt with some pretty key injuries to some pretty key players this year. Jacob Weatherspoon being one of them. He didn't even play in the playoffs because he was injured, and he's a stud wide receiver and defensive back. Big key for them. But Noah mentioned it earlier on. Coach Elder mentioned after the game. He very much, I think, went into this season telling this team to write their own story. Let this be their goal. Last year was last year. Now it's this year. It's on them, this group of seniors, to lead them and create their own path. And you know what they did? It just happened to align very nice and neatly with last year's path. So congratulations once again to Avon. Well done.
And think about this. Remember, we spoke with Coach Elder earlier in the season, and he mentioned that the winning seniors of the state championship got to ride on the float. And everybody else who wasn't an upperclassman, a senior, had to walk behind the float. So you got to tell me. You got to sit there and tell me that wasn't in the back of their minds. I think, I want to sit on the float. Look, you have fine motivation in the weirdest things, but now I get to be on the float. I'm a senior. I want a state championship. Let those underclassmen walk behind this float and know what it's about and know what it is. And tell me that is not a motivating factor going into next season.
That could be you. That could be you on that float.
That could be you. Exactly. And it can be you.
That's right.
In addition to Jacob Weatherspoon, Alex Rivera, another defensive back, was unable to play in the playoffs as well. So the fact that they were able to just, as Grant mentioned, just really tighten down the rotation, get some offensive players that want to play defense to help them out on the defensive end. At that point, it's win or go home. So you got to expend all your energy in that one game to make sure you get to the next game.
Yeah.
So you're not really worried about saving anybody for the next round because you have to win that game. It just goes to it speaks to the strength of that program. I mean, Blake Elder got some really important games in as a sophomore, spelling an injured Nolan Good. He won a playoff game. He took Hoban to the limit as a sophomore before Nolan came back and beat him as a junior, as when he was a senior. But Blake was able to see all this. All the seniors were able to see all this, and just the amount of experience that these players get. It is if someone goes down, you replace them, you move on, and you don't replace a Jacob Weatherspoon. He's too good to do that. But when you're able to throw a combination of Grant Barr and some of the other athletes out there to fill the gap in, and and not experience that much of a drop off, that shows how great of a program they are, and they proved it time and time again for the last 2 years, winning the state championship, but well beyond that, and continuing to win Region 6 and give the parochials a run for their money in the state semifinals. And now we've seen them break through twice in this iteration of Avon, and they've cashed in when they get to this level. So we'll see if there's a rematch, a three match, if you will, between Anderson and Avon next year. Anderson has a very prolific quarterback, and I have a feeling they'll be back in the mix next year as well.
I think the one thing with Avon that I'll say is it's unbelievable that their defense didn't skip a beat with Weatherspoon and Rivera out, because it seemed like their defense overall this season, that's the one thing that really impressed me, I thought, was the defense, because we knew the offense would be solid, but what about that defense? They did give up some points, last season, but, missing players and players stepping in, it'd be interesting to talk to Coach Elder and say, how the heck do you teach these kids just, one player, a key player goes down, another one comes in, and it seems like, I didn't even know Jacob Weatherspoon was hurt for most of the playoffs because their defense was that good. I think that says a lot about a program and their depth and what Coach Elder has built there. And it's going to be interesting to see in 2026, what happens with Avon if they keep building, and, it seems like they just keep retooling every year.
No doubt. So I think that puts a nice bow on top of on the 2025 season. We'll look quickly to the 2026 season. There are no changes as far as we know as of this moment in the Southwestern Conference or the Cleveland West Conference. So we'll exempt them from this little PowerPoint I put together here, but. We do have some changes here in the Suburban League American Conference. Hopefully that's visible now at this point. So you have the four teams up top are remaining. Brecksville, Broadview Heights, and Twinsburg are going to leave for football only. They are going to join the American Conference next year, and they're going to be joined by Kenston and Mayfield from the Western Reserve Conference. So this is what the American Conference is going to look like next year. Cuyahoga Falls, Talmadge, and Kent Roosevelt are leaving the Suburban League, and they're going to go to the Metro Athletic Conference. And those are teams like Field, Norton, Cloverleaf, and Streetsboro, just to name a few. So we want to shout out Cuyahoga Falls, Kent Roosevelt, and Talmadge for the hospitality. And being able to cover your schools as part of our coverage area for the last 10 years that we've been doing this. So we wish all three of your teams luck in your new conference, and hopefully you guys find as much success as you can in that conference.
And also, I get to say the Bees of Brecksville, Broadview Heights every week in my breakdown. So.
Yeah, that's a positive.
That's
a positive.
We just didn't say that, there are changes in 2026, 2027 with our coverage. We'll have to see who's doing what conference. Maybe we'll switch Sean out of that so he can be at home, really wanting to say that over and over again.
I'll still do it.
All right, now in the National Conference.
Power, Natty.
This is like the Natty Ice.
little
You're
more
not
powerful.
joking. So Brecksville and Twinsburg moved to the American, and they're replaced with Highland and Medina. So Highland, the two-time Highland, the defending American Conference champions, are moving up to the National, and Medina coming over from the Greater Cleveland Conference here as well. Geographically, it makes a lot of sense. I know I know some families that live in Medina, and they play a lot of these schools anyways, just as part of their youth groups. So this transition was probably bound to happen eventually, and this is what we're looking at here for the Suburban League National.
And now I could say the Battling Bees.
There you go.
I got to work on
You're
it.
here, folks.
I got to work on it, but I'll have it primed, ready to go for 2026 for sure.
Good effort.
Last and certainly not least, we have two changes in the Greater Cleveland Conference. As we noted, Medina is leaving the Greater Cleveland Conference, but they pick up Painesville Riverside from the Western Reserve Conference is now joining the Greater Cleveland Conference. They've come to prominence in the last few years in their respective in their division. They've had to play against Kenston and Mayfield and Chardon. Them and Chardon have had some battles over the last few years. So, another East Side school team. The East Side's filling out pretty well here between Menor, Euclid, Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, and Riverside. You have a Lorraine team on the far, on the western side of things, and then you have Brunswick and Strongsville on the south side of things. So it really is a greater Cleveland area here that's being covered. So Riverside joins us. So along with Riverside, Kenston, and Mayfield, welcome to the Sports on Tap coverage area. We're looking forward to getting to know your schools and being able to talk to your student athletes and promote your programs. And so we certainly cannot wait to get your teams in the fold there. All right, that is going to do it for our for the high school football season. Again, we can't think we want to thank the coaches, the student athletes, the athletic directors, anyone who's given us statistics, who's led us onto the field. We want to thank the OHSAA. We want to thank the news outlets as well.
Yeah.
The news outlets who send their reporters out. The Cleveland.com, the News Herald, the Telegram, the Medina
Akron Beacon Journal.
Akron Beacon Journal, Keon Sports. They have a pretty extensive coverage as well. So we're all in it for the same reason. We want to be able to promote high school sports, and we just happen to do this medium. It works for us, and we're looking forward to continuing this on into the next year. Our next show for high school, our next broadcast is coming up this Thursday. Actually, we will be live streaming the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League, North Olmsted versus Brooklyn. Puck drops at 7:15. Make sure you log on a little bit early on the earlier side and get a preview of the game with our team. Unfortunately, I will not be on the call this week, and probably not for a little bit. I've been pretty honest with everyone here about with groups, and it's not an expectation that anyone shares their personal business by any stretch of the imagination. But my wife is battling something. She's infinitely tougher than I will ever be in my life. She's battling breast cancer. She's going through chemotherapy. She's going to have a surgery, and we're to put all our efforts to getting her through that and making sure that she is where she gets through it. And again, she's very tough. She's very, very tough, just like these high school athletes, but in a completely different way. Between myself, my son, and my wife, I am the third toughest person in my own family. There's no doubt about that.
But guess what? Everything will go well, Ed, and and all three of you will be live at Barron Cup in February.
That's right. Sean's gonna be holding down the play-by-play with a combination of Rob and Josh and Tim Nichols from CVCA Livestream. He's been helping us out, so we're lucky that we have a good partnership with them, and I'm lucky that we have as much support as we do throughout throughout this process. So Sports on Tap Hockey, we're ramping up coverage. Again, tune in this Thursday night for North Olmsted versus Brooklyn, Blue Division action in the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League.
Going to be a good one. Going to be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we want to thank Max Riley from Avon Lake, Grant Barr from Avon, and Blake Elder from Avon for joining us tonight. And for the final time for high school football, this has been the High School Football Recap Show presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. Stay tuned for more from our sponsors. For Rob Troutman, Noah Jacobson, Josh Jeffy, Sean Duffy, my name is Ed Dick. This is Sports on Tap, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, buddy. Sports on Tap's Hockey Night in Northeast Ohio is brought to you by Brunswick Auto Mart. You can visit them online at www.brunswickautomart.com or go visit them at 3031 Center Road in Brunswick.
It's all about the deal at Brunswick Auto Mart. Save big this month with deals like this. Don't miss the Make This the Summer event and lease a new 2025 Ram 1500 Night Edition Crew Cab 4x4 with heated side mirrors, parking sensors, backup cam, Apple CarPlay, and lane departure warning for just $319 a month. Brunswick Auto Mart. Car buying made truly simple.
Raymond Felton State Farm is here to defend you from life's unexpected hits with coverage that fits your game plan. Get a free quote today at www.rayfelton.com or call 234-284-2996. Raymond Felton State Farm will help build the game plan that fits your needs.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.